Have you ever met someone in their 70s or 80s who just radiates energy? Someone who walks with purpose, remembers every detail of a conversation, and still carries their own groceries with ease? It's inspiring and also more rare than you might think. Most people believe that aging means decline. That after 65, it's all about slowing down, giving up certain freedoms, or letting go of the things you used to enjoy. But what if that's not the full story? What if aging could be powerful, graceful, even exceptional? In today's video, we're going to explore 10 remarkable physical and mental abilities that, if you still have them, you're part of a truly elite group. These aren't superpowers. They're signs that your body, your mind, and your spirit are still working in harmony, defying many of the common expectations of old age. And here's the truth. Each of these abilities is backed by science. They're more than just nice to have, they're directly linked to longer life, better health, greater independence, and a more joyful day-to-day experience. So if you, or someone you love, can still do some of the things on this list, celebrate it. Because it means you're aging not just gracefully, but exceptionally. This isn't just a checklist, it's a reflection of resilience. A tribute to your habits, your mindset, and the way you've taken care of yourself over the years. You might not realize it, but if you're here watching this video, it's probably because you're already doing something right. Stay with us to the end, you might just discover that the true fountain of youth isn't a miracle pill or a secret diet. It's the strength, balance, memory, and mindset you've worked hard to maintain. Let's begin. Ability number 1, you have strong cardiovascular endurance and can still walk at a good pace. Let's start with something simple. Something we often take for granted, the way you walk. Did you know that your walking speed is one of the most powerful predictors of how long you'll live? It may sound surprising, but it's true. Research has shown that older adults who can walk at a speed of 1 meter per second or faster, that's roughly 3.6 kilometers or 2.2 miles per hour, have significantly higher life expectancy than those who walk more slowly. In fact, walking speed has been called the sixth vital sign in geriatrics. Why is that? Because walking is not just a movement, it's a symphony of systems working together. Your heart has to pump blood efficiently, your lungs have to supply oxygen, your muscles have to respond, your joints have to cooperate, and your brain has to coordinate it all. So, if you're still able to walk briskly, climb stairs without needing to pause every few steps, or go on daily walks that leave you feeling energized, not exhausted, you're demonstrating incredible cardiovascular endurance. Take, for example, Thomas, a 73-year-old retired postman. Every morning, he laces up his sneakers and goes for a 45-minute walk around the park. Not because he has to, but because he loves the feeling. He keeps up with people half his age, and sometimes even passes them. He says, "I don't walk to stay young, I walk because it makes me feel alive." And science agrees with him. A study in JAMA found that each 0.1 meters per second increase in walking speed correlates with a 12% lower risk of mortality. That's not just a number, that's extra years of life, more time with family, more freedom to enjoy the little things. On the other hand, a noticeable drop in walking speed, especially if you begin shuffling your feet, needing to stop frequently, or feeling short of breath from minor movement, can be one of the earliest warning signs of declining heart or lung function. But here's the good news, endurance can be maintained and even improved at any age. Even small habits like daily walks, light jogging, or climbing stairs can keep your heart strong and your muscles active. The key is consistency, not intensity. So if you're someone who still moves with energy, who walks with purpose and power, you're not just walking. You're walking toward longevity. You're walking in rare company. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. Ability number 2, you have excellent balance. Let's talk about balance, a quiet ability, often overlooked, until it's gone. When you're young, balance is second nature. You jump off curbs, stand on one foot, climb stairs without thinking twice. But as we age, that automatic stability can start to fade. And when it does, the effects can be serious. Falls are the #1 cause of injury among older adults worldwide. But here's the good news. If you can still stand on one foot for 10 seconds or more, without grabbing a chair, wobbling, or panicking, you are part of a rare and exceptional group. Why is this important? Because balance isn't just about muscles. It's a complex conversation between your brain, your eyes, your inner ears, and every joint in your body. When you're able to remain steady, it means your nervous system is sharp, your core is strong, and your muscles are responsive. It's a sign that your body is still communicating with itself in harmony. Let's take Frank, a 77-year-old retired carpenter. Years ago, he could climb ladders and walk along scaffolding without a second thought. But one day, he noticed he was hesitating before stepping off a curb. His balance wasn't what it used to be. Instead of ignoring it, he took it as a wake-up call. Every morning, he practiced standing on one leg while brushing his teeth. He walked heel-to-toe down the hallway. He even turned his daily TV time into a mini balance session, lifting one foot off the ground during commercials. After a few months, he could stand on one leg for over 15 seconds without breaking a sweat. He didn't just regain balance, he regained confidence. He says, "Now, I know if I stumble, I can catch myself. I'm not afraid anymore." That's what balance gives us, freedom. And research backs this up. A major study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that people over 50 who couldn't balance on one leg for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of early death over the next 7 years. That's how vital this simple ability is. So, pause for a moment. Try it. Stand tall, fix your gaze on a spot in front of you, and lift one foot a few inches off the ground. Count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, all the way to 10. If you can do it, congratulations. You are aging with incredible grace and strength. And if you can't quite get there yet, that's okay. Balance is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. Little by little, step by step, you can regain that control. And with it, the confidence to keep living life on your terms. Because when you're steady on your feet, you're steady in your life. And that's the kind of strength no one can see, but everyone feels. Ability number 3, you maintain good posture. Let's take a moment to talk about something subtle but powerful, your posture. It's not just about looking good in photos or appearing confident in public. Good posture is actually one of the clearest signs that your body is aging well. If you can still stand tall with your shoulders back, walk without hunching forward, and sit without slumping, you are demonstrating a rare combination of core strength, spinal health, and joint flexibility, all working together in perfect alignment. Posture is like the silent language of your body. It tells the world how you feel. But more importantly, it tells you how your body is functioning on the inside. You see, as we age, it becomes harder to maintain good alignment. Muscle loss, joint stiffness, and spinal compression slowly creep in, pulling us forward, causing aches, and even impacting how we breathe. But if you're still standing straight, that means your muscles are still supporting you, your spine is holding strong, and your center of gravity is where it should be, right beneath you, not pulling you off balance. Let me introduce you to George, a 74-year-old retired teacher. He doesn't go to the gym. He doesn't do extreme workouts.
But every morning, he spends 10 minutes doing light stretching and deep breathing.
He walks with intention, head high, back straight, shoulders relaxed. People often stop him and say, "You walk like someone in their 50s." And that's no coincidence. His doctor once told him, "George, most men your age are shrinking, but you're holding your frame." That tells me a lot about your health. And it's true. Proper posture has been linked to better breathing, improved digestion, enhanced balance, and even stronger mental focus. When your spine is aligned, your lungs expand more fully. That means more oxygen for your brain, your muscles, your heart. On the flip side, poor posture puts pressure on your joints, shortens your breath, and increases your risk of falls. Over time, it can even lead to chronic fatigue and a loss of independence. But here's the great news: posture is not just a product of youth. It's a habit, one you can build, maintain, and even reclaim. Simple things like engaging your core while standing, stretching your back, or avoiding sitting too long can help you hold your frame with pride. So if you still carry yourself with upright confidence, you're doing something extraordinary. You're showing the world and yourself that your body is still working with you, not against you. You are standing tall not just in posture, but in life. And that is a beautiful way to age. Ability number 4, you can stand up from a chair without using your hands. Now here's something we do every day, often without thinking. Standing up from a chair. But if you're over 65 and you can still stand up from a seated position without using your hands for support, that's not something to overlook. That's a remarkable sign of strength, coordination, and independence. This simple movement involves much more than it seems. It calls on your quadriceps, glutes, core muscles, and your sense of balance all at once. It's a full body test wrapped in one everyday action. And yet, for many people as they age, this basic movement becomes difficult. They push off the armrests. They rock back and forth. They hesitate before standing. Some may even avoid low chairs or couches out of fear they won't be able to get back up. But not you. If you can rise from a chair smoothly and confidently, without needing your arms to help, that's proof that your lower body strength is intact, your joints are still responsive, and your balance is finely tuned. Let me share the story of Linda, a 72-year-old grandmother of 5. At a friend's birthday gathering, she noticed how many of her peers struggled to rise after the meal. Some needed a hand. Others leaned heavily on the table. A few stayed seated longer than they wanted to just to avoid the embarrassment. Later that month, at a family picnic, her 10-year-old grandson challenged her playfully. "Grandma, I bet you can't stand up without using your hands." Linda smiled and stood up in one smooth motion, barely thinking about it. Everyone applauded. But more importantly, she realized something. That simple act was no longer just standing up, it was proof that her body still had power. And science backs this up. Research shows that the ability to stand up from a chair without assistance is strongly linked to mobility, fall prevention, and even life expectancy. It means your muscles are still strong enough to carry you, and your nervous system is still sharp enough to keep you steady. So if this is something you still do with ease, celebrate it. Because it's more than movement. It's momentum. It means you can keep living independently, moving confidently, and enjoying the little things in life without needing help for every transition. And if it's something that's starting to fade, don't worry. Like any other skill, it can be strengthened. Through gentle exercises, daily movement, and consistency, you can rebuild what time tries to take away. So the next time you stand up from your seat with grace, remember, it's not just your legs doing the work. It's your determination, your discipline, and your resilience lifting you higher.
Ability number 5, you can get down and stand up from the floor without help. Here's a movement that many people take for granted until the day it becomes a struggle.
Getting down to the floor and standing back up. It sounds simple, doesn't it?
But if you're over 65 and you can still do this without using your hands, leaning on furniture, or needing someone to pull you up, you are part of a truly exceptional group.
Because this one action tests almost everything. Strength, flexibility, coordination, balance, control.
To lower yourself to the floor and then return to standing requires a symphony of systems. Your leg muscles need to be strong enough to lift you. Your joints, especially the hips, knees, and ankles, must remain supple. Your core must stay engaged to keep you stable. And your nervous system must work in harmony with every movement. Let me tell you about Joan, a 72-year-old grandmother with a big laugh and a bigger heart. One afternoon, she was playing blocks on the floor with her youngest grandchild. After a joyful hour of stacking towers and giggling, it was time to get up. Without thinking, she rose to her feet smoothly, easily, just as she'd always done. Her daughter watched in surprise.
"Mom, do you know how rare that is?"
Later that week, Joan mentioned it to her doctor during a checkup. The doctor smiled and said,
"That movement tells me more about your health than your blood pressure or your weight. It means your body is still fully functional, and that's a beautiful thing." And the science agrees.
A famous study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that people who could sit down on the floor and stand back up without support were significantly more likely to live longer and avoid disability. It was called the sit-rise test, and those who scored higher had lower risks of falls, fractures, and even premature death.
Why?
Because being able to get up from the floor shows that your body is not just strong, but adaptable. It means if you ever trip or fall, you're more likely to recover safely, without panic or injury. It means you still have control not just over your body, but over your independence.
So if this is something you can still do, pause and recognize it. This isn't a party trick, it's a sign of youthful movement, even in older years. And if it's something you're working toward, that's okay too. With practice, with patience, with persistence, you can improve. Step by step, day by day. Because the ability to rise, literally and figuratively, is one of the greatest strengths of all. Ability number 6, you can carry groceries without struggling. Now let's talk about something that may seem ordinary, but actually speaks volumes about your health and strength. Carrying groceries. If you're over 65 and still able to lift a few bags from the car, carry them up the stairs, or hold onto a gallon of milk without strain, you're doing something truly impressive. Because carrying groceries isn't just about your hands, it's about your entire body working as a team. Your fingers and forearms grip the bags. Your shoulders and upper back stabilize the load. Your core muscles engage to keep you balanced. Your legs and heart work together to support your motion. It's a real-world workout every time you do it. And if you're still doing it with ease, that means your muscular system, skeletal strength, coordination, and cardiovascular endurance are all aging gracefully, still showing up for you. Let me introduce you to Walter, a 74-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ohio. One day, while loading groceries into his car, bags full of canned goods, fruit, and 2 gallons of milk, he noticed a young man nearby watching him with concern. The man, probably in his 30s, stepped forward and asked, "Sir, do you need help with that?" Walter smiled and replied, "Thanks, but I've been carrying groceries since before you were born. I've got this." That moment stuck with him. Not because he wanted to show off, but because it reminded him that staying strong wasn't just about health, it was about freedom. Freedom to shop when he wants. Freedom to cook his own meals. Freedom to live on his terms. And research agrees. Studies show that grip strength, a key part of carrying, is one of the most reliable indicators of overall health and longevity in older adults. People with stronger grip strength tend to recover faster from illness, maintain independence longer, and even live longer lives. On the flip side, if carrying groceries becomes difficult, it may be an early sign of muscle loss, sarcopenia, joint issues, or even declining heart health. But the great news is, strength is something you can keep building, even later in life. Simple things like light weightlifting, carrying small loads during walks, or using resistance bands at home can make a big difference over time. So if you're still hauling those bags into the house without thinking twice, take pride in that. It's not just about groceries. It's about showing up for your life strong, steady, and still capable. And if it's getting harder, that's your cue to start training again. Because every trip from the trunk to the kitchen can be a quiet celebration of everything your body still can do. Ability number 7, you stay mentally sharp and remember well. Let's take a break from the physical and turn inward. To your mind. If you're over 65 and still able to remember details clearly, follow conversations with ease, stay mentally organized, and think quickly, then you are showing signs of exceptional cognitive health. This is more than just not being forgetful. It's about mental sharpness, clarity, and the ability to stay present and engaged in everyday life. Contrary to popular belief, cognitive decline is not an automatic part of aging. In fact, many older adults maintain or even improve their mental abilities well into their 70s, 80s, or beyond. These individuals are often referred to by scientists as superagers, people whose brain performance rivals that of someone 20 or 30 years younger. Take Evelyn, for example. She's 80 years old and still reads mystery novels without missing a clue. She remembers everyone's birthday in her family by heart. She manages her own finances, plays bridge weekly, and even helps her granddaughter with college applications. When she had a cognitive assessment during a routine checkup, her doctor was amazed. Your memory recall, attention span, and problem-solving skills are in the top 5% for your age, he said. What's her secret? She keeps her brain active through reading, puzzles, conversation, curiosity, and never stopping learning. And there's real science behind it. Studies show that mental activity builds neural resilience, the brain's ability to adapt, reroute, and stay strong despite age-related changes. People who stay mentally engaged tend to have lower risks of Alzheimer's and dementia, and report a higher quality of life overall. So if you're still sharp, still remembering details, still solving problems, you're doing something extraordinary. You're proving that your mind is still very much alive, agile, and alert. And if you feel a little slower than before, don't panic. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more it responds. Read. Talk. Write. Play. Learn. Laugh. Because mental clarity isn't just about memory, it's about living life fully awake. And staying sharp means staying you. Ability number 8, you continue to learn new things. What's one of the clearest signs that you're still thriving even as the years go by? It's your desire to learn. If you're over 65 and still curious, still asking questions, still learning new skills or exploring new topics, then you are aging not just gracefully, but brilliantly. Because the ability to learn doesn't fade with age. In fact, when we keep using our minds, they stay flexible, adaptive, and alive.
Learning something new, whether it's how to use a smartphone, speak a few words of a new language, cook a new recipe, or even take a class online, helps keep the brain young.
Let's talk about Roger, 78. When the pandemic hit, his grandchildren moved away and he didn't want to lose touch. So he taught himself how to use video calls, then emails,
then messaging apps.
And now, he's editing little videos to send to his family every weekend.
He says, "Every time I learn something new, I feel 10 years younger."
And science agrees.
Studies show that lifelong learning helps improve memory, protect against cognitive decline, and even lower the risk of dementia. It strengthens neural pathways, builds new connections in the brain, and fosters a deep sense of purpose and joy. But beyond the science, there's something deeply personal about it, too.
When you keep learning, you stay connected to the world. You stay open to change. You stay mentally active.
And most importantly, you remind yourself that you're still growing.
Because age doesn't define your capacity to grow. Your mindset does.
So whether you're learning to paint, trying out new music, reading about astronomy, or figuring out how to use the tricky app on your phone, every new skill, every new piece of knowledge is a victory over stagnation.
If you're still learning, you're still expanding your world. And that is one of the most beautiful ways to stay young. Not in years, but in spirit.
Ability number 9, you maintain strong social connections. Let's talk about something that's easy to overlook, but essential for healthy aging.
Connection.
If you're over 65 and still have strong relationships, friends you talk to, family you see, people who truly care about you, then you are already ahead of most.
Because as we grow older, one of the greatest risks we face isn't illness or injury, it's loneliness.
But when you stay connected, you're doing more than just filling time. You're keeping your mind, your emotions, and even your body in balance.
Take Margaret, 79.
Every Thursday, she hosts a small knitting circle at her home.
It's not about the yarn, she says.
It's about the laughter, the memories, the support, and the feeling that we're still in this together. That weekly gathering has become a lifeline not just for her, but for the friends who come.
It gives her something to look forward to. Something that keeps her emotionally full.
And science supports what Margaret feels. Research shows that older adults who maintain strong social ties have a 50% higher chance of living longer than those who are isolated.
Social connection lowers stress, boosts immunity, reduces the risk of depression, and even improves heart health.
When you have people to share life with, whether it's stories over tea, daily texts with a sibling, or a walk with a neighbor, you're nurturing your emotional resilience. You're building a net that catches you on hard days and celebrates you on the good ones.
And connection doesn't always have to be big. Sometimes it's a phone call, a smile, a shared meal. Sometimes it's just knowing someone cares and knowing you care in return.
So if you're someone who still reaches out, who still surrounds yourself with others, who listens, laughs, and connects,
you are doing something deeply powerful. Because we're not meant to age in isolation. We're meant to age together.
And every relationship you keep alive is another reason your life feels full, rich, and truly alive. Ability number 10, you handle stress with calm and optimism.
Let's face it, life isn't always easy.
No matter how old we are, we face loss, change, uncertainty, and challenge. But if you're over 65 and you still face stress with calm, perspective, and even optimism, then you're demonstrating one of the most powerful abilities of all. The ability to stay steady inside, even when things around you feel uncertain.
That's not weakness, it's wisdom. Because with age comes a deeper understanding of what really matters. And what's worth letting go. Emma, 85, puts it beautifully. She lost her husband a few years ago. Her body isn't as strong as it used to be. Some days are hard. But every morning, she still writes in her gratitude journal. She still waters her plants. She still smiles at strangers and says, "This too shall pass." But joy? Joy is something I choose. And science agrees with Emma's spirit. Studies show that older adults who approach life with a positive mindset tend to live longer, recover faster, and experience fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety. In fact, optimism has been linked to a 15% increase in life expectancy. Why? Because positivity doesn't just feel good, it supports your immune system, your heart, your brain, and your relationships. But this kind of peace doesn't come from ignoring pain. It comes from facing it and choosing how to respond. It's in the deep breath before reacting. The ability to laugh in difficult moments. The quiet confidence that says, "I've been through worse and I'm still here." So if you're someone who meets stress with grace, who stays calm when things go wrong, who looks for light in the dark, you are aging with extraordinary strength. Not the kind you see in muscles or numbers, but the kind that endures. The kind that inspires. Because the true measure of how well we age isn't just what we can do with our hands or feet. It's what we can hold in our hearts. And if you still carry peace, hope, and gratitude inside you, you're not just aging well. You're growing wiser, deeper, and more radiant with every year. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect. Out of all 10 abilities we've explored, how many do you still have? Even if it's just a few, know this. You are part of a rare and powerful group of people who are defying what aging is supposed to look like. You're showing the world that getting older doesn't mean fading away. It means becoming stronger in character, sharper in spirit, and more alive than ever in the things that truly matter. You've earned every step, every laugh line, every scar, every lesson. And yet, your story is still unfolding. Because aging exceptionally isn't about perfection. It's about showing up. It's about moving forward, even when it's hard. It's about nurturing the body, challenging the mind, opening the heart, and staying connected to others and to yourself. So celebrate what your body can still do. Appreciate how far your mind has come. And never stop believing in what's possible in the years ahead. And if this video has inspired you, even in a small way, please like this video to let us know it meant something to you. Leave a comment sharing your favorite ability or one you're working toward. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell so you never miss new content on living longer, stronger, and more fulfilled. This is more than a channel. It's a community of people like you growing, evolving, and redefining what it means to age well. Thank you for watching. And remember, you're not just growing older, you're growing extraordinary. See you in the next video.